Morning guys. So right now our Hanna dealer is running down some Elemax sulfur, which is a sulfur product that we're going to put on the 40 on the corner field to kind of alleviate some potential sulfur deficiency that we're having out there on that corn. So we're going to do that later today. And also later today, we're going to work on finishing up this applicator. For the most part, we do need to get orifices ordered yet. 2 sets, one for when we're running corn and one for when we're running beans with this. And we have to adjust these gauge wheels. We have to extend these down a foot, so we actually have to put a piece in here on each one. And that way these are running 8 to 12 inches off the ground. And also that way we have some play in here to adjust it if we need to. So we need to get that done. I got to do some wiring yet for the applicator also. And then this thing is pretty much ready to go, except for putting in the orifices, and then it is ready to rock and roll. Before we do anything though this morning, since the Elemax isn't here yet, and it probably won't be here for another hour yet, we're gonna run some silage inoculant down to a customer and talk with them a little bit about replant, and see if they're going to have any potential replant, and if they are, what they're thinking on how many acres and how many bags they're going to be needing, and get everything lined up for them then. So Dad's got about 5 more acres left in the field in front of the house that we call the 66 acres. So while he's finishing that up and before we do the load for the sulfur, I'm going to go ahead and get to work on this applicator, and later when he gets back we'll mix up that sulfur load. We had a seed customer swing on by and pick up a tender and a box of beans. Typically, this is a 2-person job. We don't do or let 1 person do this, just because it's a heck of a lot easier to do this with 2 people. Definitely a lot easier than doing it by yourself. Some of you guys were asking me what we do with all those P.O Boxes over there. All the empty P.O Boxes get sent back to Pioneer. Basically, we got to keep track of which ones are the treated ones and which ones are the non-treated ones. Basically, the treated ones are all labeled with a red and white treated box label, so it's pretty easy to differentiate between them. But that's why we stack them up the way we do. That way we can organize them and tally them up and tell them how many we're sending back of each kind. So a while back, probably right before planning started, I got sent this cab cam HD camera. It's really no different than any of the other cab cams that I run. I run cab cams all on the grain cart and love them. This is just an HD version of them, and I figured I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the back side of the applicator here. It's not gonna hurt to have a camera back there, especially when you're backing up to go fill, because I know there's gonna be quite a few instances where I'm gonna be backing up to fill and or backing in the corners and stuff like that, so it's not going to hurt to have this on here. So that'll be about right where I'll put the camera. This is just a magnet mount, so that'll just set like right there. I've had no issues with the magnets coming off of any pieces of equipment. These magnet mounts are pretty strong. I've run them on top of the auger on top of the grain cart there, looking down into the trucks. This is a really slick setup. I really like the magnet mount idea. Basically now I just got to get this cable hooked up to the back of the tractor. So all I need to do then is just run the wire all along here, basically with the wire that comes back here for these lights, and run it up through all the harnessing, up through there, and up to the back of the tractor here. Well, I can actually hear Dad coming back. He's just down the road there, but I do have all the harnessing I need here. This is a 20-foot one. Yep, the 20-foot. And then the 4-way splitter. You can't seem to get a implement harness that's just a single way. You got to get a 4-way split, which might not be such a bad idea, having a 4 split on here anyways, because I might see about putting another camera on here eventually. And then since it does take 25 feet of cable to get back there, you can't order a 25-foot harness. You have to get a 20 or a 30. So you can actually get a short 6-foot one and connect the 6-foot to the 20. That way, yes, I'm over 25 feet, but I can tie it up a little bit under here. So why do we have the 40-20 and the 4-row out and about, and the 46-50 and the 16-row out and about? Well, we've got about 15 to 20 acres of corn to replant, and eventually, more than likely the 46-30 will get hooked up to the drill. Not today, but probably later this week, if not the following week, because the 85-30 is hooked up to the applicator, and by the time replant for beans comes around, the 85-30 and the applicator are going to be busy. So the 46-30 more than likely will be replanting about 10 acres of beans, maybe a hair bit more. So Dad's over on Shins right now on what we call the veal barn. There's about 40 acres there. In the corner of that field, there's probably about 3 acres there that needs to be replanted. That's just a low spot of the field, and basically water just stood there for quite a while. We just couldn't get dried out due to every inch of rain happening every couple of days. So really, by the time we were just getting ready to get dried out for the most part, we get another inch or inch and 3/10 of rain. So it was just a continuous pounding of rain, and we could just never get dried out in some of these low spots. And basically that's the same situation here over at the river. So the reason the 4 rows out is because there's certain areas out there that it wouldn't make sense to go out and tear up through with the 16 row. You would do more damage and tearing up more corn going out there with the 16 row in certain spots, and it'd just be better to take the 4 row and the 40-20 out in some spots and patch it in. So I'm gonna wait here for Dad, and we're gonna get a game plan, and we're gonna both head over there with the 40-20 and the 46-50 and go ahead and replant over there at the river. And I guess there is a spot down on Dan's that was questionable, and I guess now at this point we're gonna call it replant at this point. And there's like an acre and a half over there that we got to patch in over there. I imagine he'll just take the 16 row down there because it's big enough. It's a big enough area that he should be able to easily get that done with the 16 row. But definitely there's a bunch of small patches over at the river that we'll definitely need the 4 row for. Change of plans. We'll bring the 40-20 over later, but right now I'm headed over there to the river with Dad and the gator, and we'll bring the 40-20 and the 4 row over later today. Go ahead and plant these ends here. This is the neighbor's setup here from across the road. This isn't our stuff. I'm gonna go and check those spots over there and basically assess replant as far as what we're going to use as far as the 46-50 or the 4 row, and check a few other spots. Dad's gonna go clear down on the east side and do a spot over there in that red ground. And as you can see over here, there's some spots in this field. Oh, the joys of replant. I'll go over and check that spot, but this spot pretty much right in here needs to be done with the 4 row. And that spot over there needs to be done with the 4 row. Let's go over here and check this spot. Yeah, I can see some tracks where they drove across here yesterday, Dad and Amanda. They were over here last night, Dad and Amanda were. Little spot here. It's just trying to assess what to tear up and what not to tear up, really. Well, he could almost get in here with the 16 row. Let's see. Problem is, I mean, you get some tapered in rows here that are okay, and then it tapers off and it widens out in a circle here. It'd be better off just to do this with the 4 row. That way we're not tearing up part of this and shutting off half the planter and turning half the planter back on. And for this spot closer to the surface drain is pretty much in that dark area there where there's no corn really. And this spot, pretty much all in here, he can do with the 16 row for sure. Wow. There's a spot over there in that north field, another spot there. Looks like some spots there on that end. I know there's a spot clear back over there by the river. Yep, quite a bit. He's gonna go ahead and finish up these spots here. I'm gonna go over in that north around with which planter. The nice thing is with the 4-row, we've got a little bit more versatility now on replant, even though that's not really a good thing, but it's never really a good thing to have to replant, but at least we have the 4-row to increase our planting options here. Spots like this, and then there's one up there in the corner. Those are spots where they dumped lime. We're going to talk to our custom applicator about that and have them start dumping lime up here on the filter strip and end up making some permanent designated areas along here to dump lime. That way we kind of reduce more unnecessary compaction along these end rows out here. Everything that is up though looks really, really nice. I can't remember the exact planting date on this. This was planted at 30,000 and we're replanted at 30,000. This is Pioneer 8:25 a.m. and what we're using to replant everything, including over on shins, is 8:25. Field over in shins, that was actually planted to 720 and we patched that in with 8:25. And Dan's is 1077 and we're going to use 8:25 over there also to patch stuff in. now Dad's finished up down on Dan's. He'll be going past the river here in about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and unhook these drive chains and head on back over to our house and meet Dad over there. Actually, by the time I get done, I'll probably be following him over there, and we'll get everything cleaned out and pressure wash the 16 row again, and I'll pressure wash the 4 row. I'm not sure if I'll do that today. Might do it today. If not, save it for a later day. Well, Dad and I ran some beans down to a seed customer that needed some replant beans. Came over and got the gator, and Bela and I are just driving the riverbank here and looking things over out here. That was one of the spots that we had to replant out there today. Otherwise, for the most part, this corn looks really, really good. It was planted on May 7th and 8th. Hey, stay in here. And the beans were planted on May 11th and 12th, or 12th and 13th, and those look really good. Corn's at about B3, B4, just pushing B4 really, and it's going to be a little bit till we side dress. I doubt we're side dressing by the end of the week, maybe, but definitely the following week for sure though. Total acres on corn that we had to replant. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's a deer right out over there running across the field. Hopefully Bela doesn't see it. Stay in here. Yeah, she sees it now. Total acres on corn that we had to replant was about 15 to 20 total between the river and Chin's and Dan's. There is a little spot over here, that little low spot over there, that we're gonna have to replant for beans there, and there's a spot over there by the ditch that's probably about 4 acres. 9 out of 10 years it drowns out anyways, and like I said before, that's a spot that we have really no control over due to that ditch flowing into a county road ditch that's kind of out of our control. And then along the surface drain, basically I just got to go with the surface drain on that and do about 40 feet on either side of that, so around on each side. And there's some beans over on Marx's just on the ends. Hey, sit. And then replant for beans are pretty much done, so probably total replant's going to be around 10 to 12 acres, and we'll just use 25 AO4s, and there's about 4 bags of 27 A17s right now in the drill, so we'll go through and do that. Not tomorrow, but probably on Tuesday. Tomorrow, we're going to catch up on a couple of fields that need to be sprayed, one of which is Dan's, and get that done tomorrow. Might see about washing the planter tomorrow, getting the planting data off, because officially we're now officially done planting, and see about possibly messing with those gauge wheels on that side dress applicator. That way we can get that all done and ready to rock and roll whenever it's time to side dress. And so anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. And if you guys want to buy any Werner Farms merchandise, the link for that will be down below in the description. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.